Coming up in this episode, my friend Chris joins me and Rick for a tricky night's foxing, and we see if thermal can cope with blanket fog. This is foxing, and this is Team Foxer.
What we reckoning? Because I'm going to bet 2 dogs and a vixen.
You've heard of the bear in the woods? Well, this is the fox in the field. Well, hey guys, and thank you for tuning in. This is my friend Chris, and just like all good foxing sessions should start, we quickly test the zero on the rifles before waiting for darkness to set in before heading out. Unfortunately for us, and just like the last time Chris came down, we didn't check the moon calendar, and we have ourselves one hell of a spotlight and zero wind. It's going to be tricky, but this is Team Foxer after all, and if anyone can call foxes out, we can. Stand number 1, we're around 10 minutes in. We've got the caller about 75 yards in front of our position, and we switch it from rodent to rabbit distress call and successfully call in our first fox. Oh, and this cheeky barn owl. The fox came in, as you can see, from a good distance away, but it's using what very little wind there is and playing it extremely cautiously. I'm waiting for Chris to be able to get a bead on it. He's using the Wraith night vision setup, but it was struggling a little bit with his IR. I'm of course using the HIKMICRO Stellar thermal scope. Because this fox was playing it so cautiously, it wasn't until it eventually came into around 170 yards and Chris was still struggling to get on it. I decided I'd best take the shot before we probably lost the fox. The 53 grain round entered the chest cavity low and exited out the back, making a bit of a mess, but the fox only ran about 20 yards before dropping down. Keeping the caller out and still in the same field, we changed it over to the fox fighting call, and believe it or not, it's only a few minutes later and this dog fox came running out of the cover straight away. Again, I'm just waiting for Chris to get a bead on this one here, as it pretty much comes into range straight away and pauses as it notices 3 guys and a truck standing there. Close enough. Again, Chris just struggled to get on that one, and with this one having sighted us and now running, you can see the first fox there in the background. I decided to take it if it was going to give me the chance at stopping, and sure enough it did, and I took the shot fairly swiftly. Now, we knew there were at least 2 foxes in this field because we'd seen them on a previous rabbit excursion to a neighbouring farm, which is why we wanted to bring Chris here. It was a good chance of getting him on a fox. Kept the caller going, and to our amazement, a 3rd fox enters the field. See if you can notice something about this one. And this is it, Chris. This really is your time to shine.
Has it got cannon, yours?
Yeah, Chris's 243, very notably a lot louder than mine.
Our little 223 does alright. I can still whack them at a good distance.
Yeah, I would have thought your 223's dropped a lot more foxes than any of my rifles.
I don't know, he's probably had a couple. So what we reckoning? Because I'm going to bet 2 dogs and a vixen.
I'm going to say this second one's definitely.
Yes, yeah, this one here is going to be a dog. The one I shot first, furthest away one, that will be a vixen, and I reckon the one that Chris had is a dog. That's my prediction. Any advancements on that, Chris?
I'm going 2 vixens, 1 dog. Yeah, I'd have gone 2 vixens, 1 dog.
Ooh.
That one I shot wasn't massive, so I'd have gone that for vixen.
This first one's just here. Even with yet again another bright moon, there's 3 foxes off the first stand. Chris couldn't quite get a bead on it to begin with. Well, the first one actually was just really cautious. And a fair way off, so took that one. There's a dog. Cool. I'll tell you what, boys, that's not a bad size, that, is it? Oh, feel the weight on that. That's a big lad. Okay, he's got no teeth, look. Look, no incisors at the top. So he's been around a bit, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So, numero uno. He's heavy, isn't he? You're the biggest you can carry it. Oh, right, yeah. Not very far away at all. Yep, this is the vixen. It's,
the first one wasn't it dragging itself?
yeah, it's a little bit messy. This one we'll have to pick, and a bobtail as well, look.
Right bit missing.
Yeah. Did you notice your one limping that you shot?
No. Probably why it couldn't get away from me, because it was limping. Oh, good God.
Oh, well, that is a vixen, albeit a bit of a mess, that one.
I said vixen because it didn't seem very big.
It's a dog with a dodgy leg, I reckon. In fact, it's definitely a dog. I can see his neck.
Dog.
And one of his legs is...
Can't see which one.
You'll see on the footage him holding it up. How the hell can your cannon have not created any blood?
It's gone, I shot it straight through the bib.
Did you?
So it's probably come out with its back end. It's gone in through the front, come out there.
Yeah.
It's in good nick, that. It
It is, isn't it?
It's one of this year's, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, just one of this year's. Nice
Well,
one, that. Not a mark on him.
No.
Well, with 3 foxes down off stand number 1, unfortunately that gave us a false sense of confidence for the rest of the evening. We did manage another fox, or at least Chris managed another fox, but we didn't capture that one on film. A few nights later, I'm out with a keeper. The mound of earth you can see on the right of picture here is actually the keeper's duck pond, and this fox you can see is the best part of 500 yards away. So we decide to drive round on top of the bank to see if we can outsmart the fox on the field below. Unfortunately for us, the fox was a little too wise, could hear us coming, and actually ran in front of the truck as we're driving along the bank. I did try calling it out of the undergrowth, but we just didn't see that fox again. Moved on to a different stand where, putting the caller on and watching a fox the other side of the field, this one came right in and I nearly didn't see it. I saw it at the last minute and managed to dispatch it. Again, the good thing is the wind here is really playing in our favour, because I shot this one and the fox that we were actually watching was still right the other side of the field. And it's actually still coming into the call, albeit again a long way off, so it's going to be several minutes now waiting for this fox to actually come into range. That horrible noise you can hear there is actually the fox mating call wailing away on the icotec GC500 caller. Although it's early September, I've had great success using that call just recently. As you can see here, the fox in no particular great rush, though it did keep getting distracted. You might just be able to see here there are several mice coming in and out of this field margin here, and the fox keeps getting distracted and trying to catch a little bit of supper on his way to the call. Again, it's about 4 or 5 minutes in total that we've been watching this fox coming in, and sometimes you've just got to have that patience and wait for the fox to come to you.
Right, so look at this. We've got a fairly breezy evening, but a lovely bright moon, so we decided to come in the silhouette of this large tree here. Caller on. First fox, well in fact we were watching the first fox as it was right over the other side of that field. That's a long, long way. Watching this one, all of a sudden I have a quick scan to the right and there's one coming from that direction. He's down at about 71 yards and then this other one came all the way up this dike here, and it did take some time. So let's go and find out what we've got on stand number 1. Yeah, well, so I didn't see this one till the last bloody minute. Stop swearing! Stop swearing! I keep having to use my bleeping machine. I wonder what it is, dog or vixen. Good thick fox. Vixen. Oh yeah. Tell you what, she's a good sized vixen. And she's not a young un, look. Look at them teeth. Is she?
Oh yeah, a big gammy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the tail's too big.
Yeah, she's a wise old girl. She ain't that wise, is she? I'll stick this on the track and then we'll walk back down that way. So they're hopping about, whereas this thing was casually walking along that dike edge. You reckon? I reckon it's a young un.
Dog fox.
But he is a young un, isn't he?
Is he young one?
Yeah. Yeah, see, they're fairly white compared to that other one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Stephen.
Is that on there?
Yeah.
Leave that one, that'll be a bit of fun.
That's two good foxes, that, isn't it? Decent sized vixen. And a young, but I tell you what, he's got a thick old tail for a young lad, hasn't he?
He has, but you've got to remember, Robin, say, they're 9 months old now.
Yeah. I mean, he's a young one, he's as big as a...
Yeah, that's definitely an old vixen.
Not actually expecting to see any more foxes, we thought we'd go to the very edge of the farm and put on the pheasant distress call, as this is a very good wild pheasant shoot, this particular area. Steve could see this lad come all the way across the field, but then it disappeared out of his line of sight. I'm stood on top of the Land Rover shooting out of the hatch, so I've got a good 360-degree view. Though I've got to stop this fox at a particular point, because if it gets too close I won't be able to see it, and as it is I can only just about see the head anyway. But sometimes that's all you need.
And then I lost him.
Well, he did, he come running out to the pheasant in distress call, didn't he?
Yeah, well, like I say, he come out of them bushes right down the bottom end,
Yeah.
out into the right hand side of the field, and he must have heard your caller, because he actually run into the bushes but coming this way,
Yeah.
and then I lost him because I can't see from my window screen. Brilliant, mate.
There he is.
Well, I tell you what, the speed he come down the side of this field.
I'm predicting dog fox, me.
Oh yeah, he's got a set of big on me.
I dare say that'll be a headshot.
He's always have gone all funny.
You been drinking?
He's one of them with the... he got no fangs. Not all one.
You might find them down the bottom of the dike. There he gives you hand.
He's got no fangs at all.
Hasn't he?
No. Oh, I'm not shooting anymore.
No,
I'll
let's
let
go
you
home.
shoot.
Let's go home.
Of course we didn't go home. Here's just a couple more we've had in the last few outings. Enjoy these and then I'll pick up with you as me and Rick go out for a foggy session. The next foxing session I had later that week was to also try out the new CT3-HD Rekon tripod system on loan from Scott Country. Whilst out getting these promotional pics, the low-lying mist rolled in, but seeing as we were out, we decided to try calling in a couple of foxes from this well-known foxing stand. Sure enough, it paid dividends. Rick was able to film using the GQ35L spotter this fox come all the way in from the other side of the field and get hounded almost the entire way from that barn owl. So it made for some quite interesting footage. This one unfortunately came into around 120 yards, but as I clunked around trying to get used to using this Rekon tripod system, this one saw me and winded us at the same time because it came round on the wind and exited stage left. Never mind, it can't go smoothly all the time, can it? I'm sure we'll meet again. So that one was a no-go, but not long later, changing things up again on the caller onto rabbit distress, and I catch sight of a fox right the other side of the field. Notice how nice and still those crosshairs are, as Rick actually tells me there's a fox coming in from our right. So I get ready on the sticks again and call this one in. We are, because it's such a moonlit evening, just right next door to this bush to try and get in the silhouette. Which is almost the undoing of this, because I was hoping the fox wasn't going to shoot to the right out of sight picture. Luckily for me, it made a beeline straight for the lipsqueak. It sat out at around 160 yards ish. This was when I took the shot, but nice and steady. First one off the Rekon sticks, this.
Well, look at this. Calling foxes on a super bright moon, and the mist and fog have rolled in. But the beauty with thermal, it cuts straight through it. That's the first fox I've shot off the Rekon tripod, and boy was it steady. Came in well. I reckon that's a vixen, you know, look at that. That's not a cub. It is a vixen. It's a nice tail. Adult. She was facing me, so that's gone straight in the front. Not too sure if that's an older injury on a jaw there or not, really. I mean, there's definitely some bullet damage there, but she had her head down. That's clipped her right at the side of the nose. That hasn't gone through the cheek and in the chin. She stinks. Cool, right. Number one down. On we go.
Onto the farm, literally just up the road now. In the middle of the farm we're situated. We can see a good way around in all directions. I thought I'd seen something move that looked like a fox in this dyke. Put the mouth caller in and gave it a good squeak, and sure enough, out pops not just one, but two foxes on this stand. Now, Rick's got himself a new rifle here, a brand spanking new Tikka in 243 calibre, so I'm keen to get him his first fox under the belt for that rifle. So we'll let him come in. He's actually just using a daytime scope, a Hawk Sidewinder scope, and he's actually got the powered night vision on. Now, because of the fog, he was struggling to see a little bit, so we had to let this one get fairly close. So you'll see Rick takes the shot, but I'm actually recording it through the Stella. I'm looking through my rifle because, of course, we've two foxes coming in. If I can, I want to get this second fox down as well.
Yep, it's dead.
Now, what we didn't realise at this stage is we actually had another fox behind us as well. So I went wandering off to try and find this fox here, which, first of all, some of you may say that's an unsafe shot, but I can assure you that fox is this side of the dyke, with the dyke bank raising a good 2 to 3 feet above the fox behind it. So that's 2 down already. We've still got a couple of foxes in play. There's this one here, right the other side of the farm, that can't really see us that well because of this blanket fog. So I painstakingly walk, sticks, rifle and everything across the fields to try and get closer to it, and eventually I do. I'd already heard another shot going off in the background, so I know Rick's had another one down. This is proving to be a very productive area indeed. Well, that big old thump tells me everything I need to know about that. As I head back towards Rick and the truck, I actually notice yet another fox coming out from the bush where we'd already shot 2. Wow, I can't believe just how many foxes were on this one farm, and we're a stone's throw away from the pheasant drive, as you'll see in just a couple of minutes. But this one here taken off sticks at 190 yards.
Vixen.
Stinks.
The other one's right on the tree line.
What, both of them?
No, one's somewhere near this bush to your left, and the other one's over near the right. It's not a bad effort off of one stand, is it? 6 down. Yeah, cub. Blonde, isn't it? Another dog. Yeah. Oh, that's a good shot. Alright, that's number 6. He's going to find that one in that field over here. Here's a pheasant drive. And in these puddles you can just see we've had a bit of rain this week. Right there is Mr. Fox print. So there's big dog prints here that you can see in the puddles for sure. And Mr. and Mrs. Charlie have been coming through here. Here's another one. So yeah, definitely foxes in the area. Well, there was. Look at this fog. No, it looks like the Starship Enterprise going through the stars there. Bloody warp speed or something. Well guys, we've come to the end of what has been a very productive session. Rick's had 2 foxes with his new rifle, so he's christened that, and I'm sure he's chuffed to bits, and I've managed to account for 5. All of them taken off the Rekon tripod that I've been using, sent to me by Scott Country. I was a little bit dubious at first because they are very big and quite bulky in comparison to the usual sticks. But this CT3-HD, the Mark Ripley version, is super stable. I'm completely sold on it. They're not the cheapest things in the world, but again, when you're out and your shot depends on it, I have yet to use something that's as stable as this. I dare I say it's probably even as stable, if not more stable, than going off the bipod on the bonnet of the car. Rock solid. Some of the shots I took were over 180 yards, you know, and off sticks when the adrenaline's pumping, that can be quite tricky to do on uneven ground, you know, when the pressure's on. So yeah, really impressed with this so far. If you're stopping by for the first time and you want to, please consider subscribing. Don't also forget to give this video a thumbs up. For now though, take care, stay safe, and as always, happy shooting. That'll f***ing do.